It's Sunday. I've had a day of solace. Just a lot of reading. Got my current book I'm on. And I've been loving it. I've been loving the reading. For the longest time, I have been inconsistent with the reading and always pushed the reading off to the side as if it was not important or not as important as working out my muscles and training and eating. But it actually made me realize, it made me wake up to the fact that reading might just be the cheat code to this whole video game we call life. If life is just a video game simulation, whatever you want to call it, books are like the little items that are very, very super legendary rare. But once you start getting into them, they can change the whole game and make it so much different. Your whole perspective of the game flips. And I'm not trying to sound like some woo-woo like type of guy just talking about books and stuff. Like I'm all wisdom, Mr. Wisdom over here. But I am just encouraging you because I can't think of many 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds outside of college reading college textbooks that'll actually sit down and are actually like into and interested in reading books. And not only reading books, but reading them over and over again, taking notes, chat GBTing. This is a cheat code. Going on chat GBT and asking, give me the main key points for every single chapter in this book. It'll generate all of that, so then you look at that and you know what you're actually reading for. So when you read the book, you're like, oh yeah, it's this key point, it's this topic. Okay, so with that being said, reading has the ability to transform your whole perception of reality if you choose the right books. And this is the important part, is not just reading, fiction or fairy tale or anything like that, but more so the books that are talking about self-improvement, specifically psychology of your brain and behavior and just the whole self-development kind of broad category. But then there's different little categories. Like I like to read the books about metaphysics and the universe and like particles and atoms and that sort of thing. And I also like the psychology books, the psychology of money, the psychology of people, the law of human nature. That's one of my favorite books, so that you really get an understanding instead of just this broad 3D materialistic, just being subconscious. You actually get into your subconscious mind and you become conscious. And again, I'm not trying to sound like enlightened by any means, because I know there is much, much more than what I already know. I'm only 19. So when you condition your brain in certain ways and patterns, and you start to frame things, different scenarios. I'll give you a scenario. So in a book I'm reading, it's called A Pendulum, is basically the collective group of thoughts, and everyone's thoughts have a certain vibration that they carry with them and frequency. And so it's a collective group of all of these usually negative emotions or something you don't want to be associated with, all into one thing. And just think about it like a cult or whatever you want to call it. For example, very easy one, party culture. That is a huge pendulum, college. And I realized this after reading about, these books. And I was realizing that college in and of itself might be the biggest pendulum, because it's a group of people. And you got to break it down like this. You got to think. It is a group of people, okay, who are all probably thinking the same thing, probably dealing with depression, or, this isn't everyone. Let me say it like this. It's more so the collective group ideas, right? Like the certain values and morals and everything. And they're probably not prioritizing personal development. They're probably seeking validation and trying to hook up, male or female. I mean, that's what it is, partying. It's every weekend staying to the same cycle of feeling like shit Monday through Wednesday. Well, okay, even in college, I know there's certain colleges that, at least in Wisconsin, that literally drink from like they drink every night Wednesday until like Sunday. So like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are the only sober days of the week. So wow. But it's a cycle of being sober and feeling like shit, and then finally, they get through their schoolwork, they're obedient for school, doing all that stuff, and then it all just, okay, well, my life doesn't suck because I have the weekend to look forward to. I look forward to the weekend, and then I get to have my fun. And none of that was fun to me. None of that was fun to me at all. Because every time I went, I was so locked in with my diet, and I'm not trying to sound superior, I'm just saying, when I would go to the clubs, of course I drank when I first got to college. Let me check, make sure this is still recording. Okay, we're good. Didn't want to have something go wrong on me. No, but yeah, when I would go sober, I would start to break down these certain things and these patterns, and it's like they're all stuck in like kind of like a robot world where it's like you're doing the same thing every weekend, living the same lifestyle. And if you continue this lifestyle, I look at all my parents' generation in my town. Every single parent I know that's like went to college is like ride or die college. That's the only thing you can do. And then you get a job, and they're usually always referring back to college. Those are the best 4 years of your life. After that, life goes, it's life. That's what it is. That's all we know. And you can't blame them because their parents' generation didn't even really have college. So college is a brand new thing if you are watching this and you are my age, 19, your parents in the similar range of like 30 to 40 to 50, then you know what I'm talking about. Most parents are this way, at least where I'm from. And going against that grain and becoming an entrepreneur, and I always knew deep down, I knew from a young age that I was going to be an entrepreneur and I wasn't going to conform. I didn't like school, couldn't pay attention. And it's not because I had ADHD. I'm not one of those kids that self-diagnoses because they think they're quirky. But I just like genuinely always saw through the bullshit and always saw through as like a scam. And I didn't like the idea of anyone else, like some like fat teacher telling me what to do and they can't even get their body in shape. Like, why would I respect you? Like, straight up. If you're fat, I do not respect you. Sorry, someone's calling. Anyways, it's just really crazy and astonishing to me because going back to the club, the pendulums, I was in there, I was realizing everyone is just drinking poison. You gotta break this down to the furthest level. They're drinking poison, and it's basically just evolved. This isn't racist. I'm saying no matter what color you are, whatever race you are, we're all evolved from monkeys. So we're basically just more evolved monkeys. A room full of sweaty monkeys going up, trying to mate with each other, trying to outcompete. The men are all outcompeting each other, but even then, not really, because they're still broke and have nothing to really show. And the types of girls they're attracting are low quality females anyways, who are just trying to rack up bodies. And it's like, yeah, I could do that, but why would I want to, fulfill that and just rack up a bunch of bodies with some whores? It's just kind of seemed all gross to me. And that's just one of the things. But the other thing, that's just, you could call that lust, whatever you want to call it. And look, like, how do I say this? Anyways, then there's the aspect of the health, is you're drinking poison, and then that goes even further because you're not just doing that just to do it. You're doing it so you can be more social and confident Why do you need that to feel that way? If you really just worked on yourself, you would feel that all the time. You wouldn't need to drink alcohol to feel like a badass. Like, that's the corniest thing. But also, you're escaping reality. Your life sucks so much that you were like literally trying to escape your current reality and be in an altered state of consciousness. Because God gave us consciousness as the purest form of raw life. So why are you altering your state? That's another thing I didn't understand. And so all these negative things, and then getting sucked into the social dynamics and social groups, and there's just so much drama, and who's fucking who, and who's doing this, who's drinking, who's buying, who's going here, what bars. And it's just, I don't have time for that. I was different. I was trying to work on my business when I was in college. None of those people that I went to college with would understand this. I don't blame them, but and they would try to, that was like my joke. They'd try to joke around and say, oh, he's locked in. All he does is go to the gym and work on his business and, whatnot. And so I slowly just stopped going to these events. I stopped going and partaking, and I literally just sat in my dorm all day. And I couldn't find a single person that was like-minded. That's not true. I found people that were like-minded, but not to the fullest extent. I had my best friends there that are still my friends today. But just because they're a great friend doesn't mean that they have similar goals. You know what I mean? And I still love them all. But I'm just saying, it wasn't a good environment. I knew I wasn't going to class because I was staying up all night on my business. And again, I saw through the bullshit. And the professors, I hope they're all doing well, but they're not people I'd like to be like. And it just they were teaching us history about, like, the history you're taught in school, I hate to break it to you, is not even, like, close to the truth. It's really not. Because history is written by who has the power to write it. So they can put anything they want. It's a standardized thing they're telling all our kids. There's a lot of hidden dark history of how it actually worked by the opposition, by the other tribes and people who would orally write this. And you can look into that. History is one of my biggest interests, believe me. And some of the shit they tell you in school is true, but it's just super vague and they don't go in depth. Anyways, the main message here is what I'm trying to say is, if you're an entrepreneur or you're someone who's looking to just get into this self-development and start with the physique, start with the body, because that's where it all starts. My message is find yourself. Sit down in a room, just think for 15 minutes, because nobody does this. Think about, who do you truly want to be? What is your true purpose? And it's okay if you don't know. You need to practice this more and more and more reps. And just truly practice being aware of that's the biggest thing. Become aware. Just become aware. Aware of your actions throughout the day. Like literally thinking about what you're doing, introspecting, and thinking deep, and just thinking about every single action I'm doing. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Who am I with? Break it down, like I was talking about, like the example. It might sound autistic, but it's true. You can break everything like that down. And if you don't want to go down that route and be normal, don't. Listen to your heart. Your heart, you think you're just some random you are literally a soul. You have a physical body, but that's not even what you are. You are much deeper than that. You are a glowing ball of energy inside of a flesh body. So my message is, find who you are. Pick up some books, self-improvement. Start reading those books. Get in the gym. Get your body right. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just go. Get started. You probably pick up some weights and start curling them, or benching a bar, that you'll probably be doing something good. So start with that and figure it out along the way. I'm still figuring out this whole entrepreneur journey along the way. I dropped out of college. I still live with my parents. Whatever, I don't have a car. I crashed 2 cars, totaled 2 cars right before this. But I'm willing to do whatever it takes to not give up and to keep going. But I'm gonna get going. Just want to keep this one short. It's filmed on my iPhone, by the way, because my camera took a shit and died. But we're, like I said, whatever it takes. And I'm gonna deliver to you guys. I love you guys who are watching. To stay with me, with my journey. And hopefully I can improve your journey too. Real quick, thought you guys should see this view. That's what I was looking at the entire time I was talking to you. That's why I wasn't looking at the camera. Anyways, till the next one, peace.